everybody. This essay, or this explanation, is walk you guys through your second essay. This essay is going to be due on October 18th by 11:59 p.m. And this one is a research essay. So you are basically taking the same topic and stance as your first essay, and you're adding in specific research to help further support your ideas and add depth to your analysis. So you need to keep the same topic and stance as the first essay. That is absolutely required. You can't change it. You are going to have to pull in at least 4 sources into your essay. They need to be credible sources. One of them does need to be an in-person interview. Now, obviously it's COVID. In-person in this case can be done, via a survey online that you send to someone a few questions. Or you can do it by phone or Zoom, that's fine, but it does need to be done with someone as a person, not just like a interview you find online. MLA formatting, of course, this one is going to be 5 to 6 pages. That means to the bottom of the 6th page, of course, or 5th page, of course, at the minimum. So MLA required, check for plagiarism, of course, and you do need to keep, again, like I keep saying, the same topic and stance as essay 1. This will have all the usual parts of the essay, so a good thesis claim in your intro, at least 3 main ideas with reasons and evidence to support your claim. The evidence here is really where you're going to be pulling a lot of the research that you're doing. You'll still have the 2 to 3 opposing ideas with the rebuttal, so the counter arguments in the rebuttal. And then make sure you have the appropriate number of sources, so at least 4, 1 interview required, transitions, etc., and a conclusion. A note on this: you are welcome to use the first essay as a sort of inspiration, as sort of the base of your argument. Absolutely, you should. However, what you cannot do is simply copy and paste your first essay and then add 2 pages. That is not the goal here. The goal is to transform and revise the argument that you have, make it much stronger with the addition of this research. Not only that, I will be leaving comments for you guys on your first essay, so you'll want to make sure you read those comments and make some of those edits that are needed, whether that's adding, additional thoughts or ideas, or watching out for certain run-ons, or making sure that the sentence structure is more formal, whatever it might be. So this should not, and I'll repeat this again, this will not and should not be simply copy and pasting the first essay and then adding 2 pages. It is expected that your second essay is a significant transformation of that first essay with changes throughout, additions, structural changes, things like that. You are absolutely welcome to use it as a base, but I don't want to see a copied and pasted essay number 1 plus 2 pages. That's not what the prompt is. It's also not what a more advanced argumentative structure, a good one, will look like. You do need to incorporate those elements, that research, that additional context, the advanced argumentation and analysis and logic throughout your second essay. So you'll have a couple items which contribute to your second essay grade. You'll first do a pre-research activity. So forgive me if this is the wrong week, but it'll be submitted as an assignment before your actual essay is due. So you don't need to submit that with the final essay. You'll also do an annotated bibliography. Now this is an assignment where you'll have a lot more detail about what you're supposed to do when you get to it. But essentially an annotated bib is a list of sources where you analyze and summarize and evaluate those sources before you put them into your essay. So you're deciding how you'd use them in your essay. Are they good sources? Why are they good? How would you use them? So your annotated bib will have 6 to 8 sources on it. And 1, of course, is your required interview. And that'll be, again, I may have the week wrong here. I apologize. But it will be submitted as a separate assignment, so you won't need to submit it again. Your final essay, however, will have a clean final draft with a regular bibliography. So this is not an annotated bibliography. This is a regular bibliography where you simply have the list of sources in MLA style There's no additional context, no context around it. It's just the sources. Your bibliography does not count towards your page numbers. I do want to make that clear. But really, all you're submitting in your final essay is the clean final draft plus a page that has your bibliography on it. You'll get a lot more information about this as you work through this unit, but you'll get a whole explanation of how to do a bib, an annotated bib, I should say. The annotated bib has a few things in it where you're basically summarizing, evaluating, and then saying how you're going to use the source in your essay. I have included an optional self-edit guide once again, if helpful. And then we just included an optional guide for how to conduct a good interview. There's a couple ways you can do it. You can do a written one, an oral one. You can do it with cards, whatever you need to do. I will say about the interview, it does need to be someone who is credible, someone who has some expertise or knowledge of the field that you're talking about. So if you're talking about climate change and you want to bring in, a former professor or a scientist that you know, or an activist who works in climate change, those are all great sources. You wouldn't want to bring in your random next door neighbor who has some thoughts on climate change. That's not a credible source. It's going to add credible support to your essay. So this is why this is why I did mention this in the first essay explanation. You do need to have somebody who has some understanding or relation to that field of that you're talking about. So if you guys have questions about this, let me know. The goal here is to really show the depth of your skill when it comes to argumentation, incorporating research, and the abilities that you have with kind of centering your arguments around the support and the evidence that you can pull from your research. So if you have questions, let me know. Otherwise, go ahead and move on to the next assignment.